The movie kicks off 35 years ago, where we see a spy agent named Myrtle, also called Agent 28, making her way to Dr. Doofus's secret lair by taking out some henchmen. She reaches the area and saw more henchmen, but takes them out like the others. Agent 28 managed to get into the rocket room and eventually meets Dr. Doofus. She tries to attack him, but his most loyal bodyguard named Ham Hand came to defend him and trapped her in a cage. As Agent 28 was using a device to cut through the cage, Dr. Doofus began activating the rocket and explains he'll use the lasers on his rocket to take out other satellite, for him to launch his own satellite to take over the world. As he activated the timer, Agent 28 broke free from her cage and managed to knock Ham Hand out. Doofus tries to make a run for it, but Agent 28 caught him. When trying to stop him, she threw his cup on Doofus. The spilled tea made him land in his activated rocket. Doofus began begging for mercy, but the timer was exactly at 13 seconds. Agent 28 tries to disenable the rocket, but unluckily, she disenabled the lasers instead. It was too late for her to make any further tries. Sadly, Dr. Doofus got caught up in his own evil plan. In the present, Lincoln was the one telling Clyde his step-grand mission story and has a strong hope on going on a mission with her. Albert, Lincoln's granddad, and Myrtle, his wife-to-be, just arrived. Lincoln was so glad to see her and reminds her about her epic save, but Myrtle replies that happened ages ago, and all she could think about is her wedding. Lincoln hungers to be her spy partner if anything goes wrong at her wedding, but instead, Myrtle assigned him to safeguard the wedding rings with his life. Just then, his parents ordered them to start packing for a vacation for the wedding. Once Lincoln got into his room, he packed all his David Steele gadgets, including his watch. While they're packing, the housekeeper came in. Lisa assigns him to keep an eye on her house laser which she built, because of her rivals. When heading out, Pop reminded Lincoln about the wedding rings, while they all waited outside. Not long after, they were in the plane. A lady introduced herself as Fifi to Lincoln's dad. When Albert and Myrtle, also known as Ex-Agent 28, was talking, Albert had a stomach upset and went to the toilet. Lincoln, being so obsessed with spy stuff, went to sit with her and had her talking about her former missions. Albert got back and heard her talking about her past and felt he wasn't good enough for her. When Lynn was teaching Lori how to catch, the ball spilled on Fifi. Lynn felt they won't see her again, but Fifi boarded the same bus with them, making them worried. Just at the hotel, Flop Philippine handed them their keys. Lincoln's mom and the girls heads to the pool. Their dad went to check out the menus, while Albert plans on taking Myrtle fishing. Lincoln volunteers to go with them and remembers to go get his spy stuff. Walking backward, Lincoln bumps into a huge weird man and suspected he was up to something. Not long after they got to the boat, Lincoln began his spy mission again. He spotted the same man he bumped into and some men carrying some boxes into a truck. As he used his other camera, the man saw Lincoln and sent some henchmen after him. Lincoln quickly alerted Myrtle. Lincoln explains what just happened less than a minute before the henchmen arrived. Myrtle took all of them down, leaving Lincoln wowed. At the shore, Myrtle had to call her former boss named X to assign an agent to handle the bad guys and reminded Lincoln she's now retired and made her exit, but left her handbag in there. Lincoln took her phone and texted X. She accepts the mission. When she came in, Lincoln lied to Myrtle he'll drop the spy things and head home. In excitement, he runs out, but Fifi interrupted and hands him his spy camera which she found in the shore. After that, he went to his room and contacted Clyde. Lincoln sent the picture he took on the boat to Clyde to enhance it. The name written on the box is Ruby Nurse. Clyde made his research and found it's a name of a restaurant in the island. Lincoln wore his spy cloth and sneaks out to take on a real spy mission. Meanwhile, Myrtle saw him from upstairs and went after him. Before then, she made a deal with a random guy to pretend he's her for the meantime and heads out. Shortly after, Albert came out of the bathroom, but the guy pretended as if he's taking a nap. He felt it was over. Suddenly, the girls and their mom badged in and took her into the limousine for her bachelorette's party. At the Ruby Nurse restaurant, Fifi spotted Lincoln and asked him to come join her. Lincoln got bored and went ahead to do some spying. He found the men he saw while on the boat, entering the kitchen, and decides to follow them. When he peeped at the door, he saw Ham Hand from Grand Story. In there, Lincoln had to sneak past the cooks to follow Ham Hand. Suddenly, Myrtle dragged Lincoln into a room and tries to take him home, but after Lincoln tells her they are working for Doofus, he reveals to Myrtle he accepted the mission at her back. Shortly, a henchman interrupted their conversation. Lincoln used his David Steele fart spray to confuse him for them to make a run, but are surrounded by henchmen. Myrtle and Lincoln worked together to take them down and made a run for it. Having figured out how the advanced scooter works, the henchmen figured it out instantly and chased them. While on the chase, Ham knocks them off the scooter, leading them into the bush. Myrtle immediately told Lincoln to make a run for it and leave her behind. Fortunately, Lori and Lola spotted Lincoln hiding along the road and gave him a lift. Lincoln was shocked to see Myrtle and realized she's not the one, leaving everyone in shock. In annoyance, Lincoln's mom orders the driver to take them back to the island police station. Reaching there, flop, the policeman can't help them, so they all teamed up to save Myrtle. In the morning, Lisa brought them to her lab. She gave Lenny a lemonade lipstick that can cut through anything, Lily, an incredible lollipop. One lick makes a person fall asleep. For Lori, a wedging grappling hook that can hold many weights on the air. Lola, an explosive flower. Lynn, a whoopee cushion. Pop, a hydraulic knuckle. Her dad, Peppers, and Lincoln, his very own David Steele wristwatch that comes with strong magnet. To Myrtle, they threw her into a cell and locked it. On a mission to save Myrtle, they saw two henchmen on their way and hid in the bush. Meanwhile, Fifi came greeting the Louds loudly, drawing the attentions of the henchmen. They spotted Lincoln, but they were quick enough to make a run for it in Fifi's car. While in the chase, their car almost crashed, but luckily stopped in Doofus's entrance to his secret lair. Phase 2. They used Lily's lollipop to take down a henchman. As they were walking, Lincoln saw a directory and located a jail cell on the 10th floor on it. As Lincoln was warning them about booby traps, he didn't know he was standing on an alarm laser, triggering the door to close. Good thing they know where to meet. At the other hand, Myrtle was planning her escape plan. It dawns on her to use her free napkin to block the toilet. Back to the other Louds, they saw a henchman and took his clothes. Their dad pretended to be Tony and stood in the elevator. Unfortunately, 3 henchmen came in. They had to hide in their dad's cloth. At the same time, Lincoln and the rest got to a room filled with henchmen. Lenny used her incredible lipstick to cut the lights, causing turmoil in the room. They used this golden chance to walk past them on the air. Unfortunately, a henchman found a torchlight, exposing them. They had to make a run for it. The exit door was almost shut. Lori had to use her wedging grappling hook to catch them from falling. Meanwhile, Lynn couldn't take it anymore and used her whipping cushion to pollute the area. Just then, the guards noticed the toilet is broken and went in to fix it. Myrtle used that chance to escape and never knew they were coming to save her. As they all reached there, the door got shut while Myrtle arrived at the rocket room. Myrtle saw the rocket was initiated and tries to stop it, but Ham interrupted. As they were battling, Myrtle got distracted as she saw her family trapped in the rocket. Ham quickly held her tight. Unexpectedly, Fifi came in. She reveals she's Schmoofy Doofy, the wife of Dr. Doofus. All she wanted is revenge on Myrtle because she assumes Myrtle launched her husband to space. Now she wants to do the same to her family. She also reveals she has been studying the Louds for years and knew Lincoln was obsessed with spy missions, and sets the whole thing up. The moving of boxes at the boat, the fake conversation at the restaurant are all fake just to lure Lincoln into her game, to get revenge on Myrtle. After everything, she activated the rocket timer and ran out. Myrtle managed to get rid of Ham and went after Fifi. Fifi threw Myrtle's wedding ring of the cliff. Myrtle tries to get the remote, but failed. Determined to save her soon family, Myrtle used a plunger to launch her way up to the rocket, but had no plan on escaping with them. Just then, when Lincoln was blaming himself and putting all his David Steele comics in the toilet, it crossed Myrtle's mind they can escape through the toilet. Unfortunately, one has to wait behind to press the button. Lincoln decided to pay the prize by staying behind. When they landed, Myrtle got an idea from David Steele comic book to get Lincoln back. At the rocket room, Lynn and Myrtle hacked into Doofu's computer to access Lynn's laser at home. Lynn targeted a satellite which made it hit the rocket, causing it to return back to Earth. Albert had to swim to save Lincoln. Just in the water, he used his hydraulic knuckles to break the glass and rescue Lincoln. After all being settled, Lincoln traded his David Steele's watch for new rings made from bamboo. At the end, Albert and Myrtle had a successful wedding, while Lori caught the flower she's been training for. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more global recaps on this channel. Thanks for watching.